Wow.
Wow, that's right. Wait, I don't know if I'm on.
You are, but your mic is facing me. You gotta turn it around.
What a ding dong coming to this party. Is this good?
That's good.
What do you think?
I think that's good. Is this good?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it sounds good.
What do you think? Should we look?
I didn't have the computer facing us. It's a mystery.
It looks even.
That's good. Even Stevens.
Yeah, even Steven. Cheers to PSL season.
Pearson Spectre Lit.
Boing.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Yep, boing. That is our ASMR. That's us hitting our Starbucks that we had delivered for PSL season.
Delicious. It is going to be like 100 degrees today, but I do appreciate a nice.
You bet. When I was ordering it, I was like, I feel like I should get it iced. Maybe frozen.
Did you have frozen pumpkin spice latte?
All right. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's clap.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters.
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
Yeah.
Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
Only Suits fans.
This is Season 4, Episode 13, Fork in the Road, and Season 4, Episode 14, Derailed.
And it was derailed.
It was derailed. It was off the rails.
The way it
off
ended.
Those railroad tracks that were on top of that roof.
Yes.
From last episode.
Yeah.
Totally derailed.
Just people jumping off the building, it felt like. Just everything coming to a head.
Yeah. I knew you were going to be so happy about this, though. Because we had a flashback.
Oh, my gosh. I was so happy. I literally opened my notes, and I saw that you had already started notes. Mm-hmm. And I said to Kyle, oh, my God. Yes. And he was like, what? And I was like, it's a flashback episode.
Yeah. I almost texted you because it was mainly flashback.
And I love the flashback.
Yeah. I mean, we had very little in the future.
It gives so much context. So much context.
We need that context.
I needed it.
Speaking of context, I'm going to kind of summarize all this in what might be the longest brief to date.
I saw this brief and I was very impressed. This is an essay.
This is an essay. One would call it a novella. I feel like a judge might throw this out because it's not even brief.
It's brief
long
considering
underwear.
we watched 2 hours of television and you wrote this nice 8-sentence summary.
Yeah, it's a long one. It's not even my best work. So, but that's okay. We're going to read it anyways.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. It's PSL season, and there's nothing better than a good flashback to foreshadow the future at Pearson Spectre Lit. History repeats itself when we learn this isn't the first time Mike has lied about law school to get the girl or the job. An angelic appearance from Grammy, the real star of the show, tries to put Mike in his place against that kid, Trevor, but Mike decides he's an adult now and it's time to venture out on his own with a roommate. The origin story of Harvey and Lewis's torrid friendship is brought to light with this grainy lighting showing us what it was like for them at Pearson and Hardman 6 years ago. And the Three Musketeers take a road trip where there's nowhere to run to, baby, nowhere to hide, until they duke it out like grown-ass men. When Professor Gerard shows up with another case, Mike takes it and ends up representing a career whistleblower because this case is really all about his parents. Donna can't help herself from being her own little fixer, and she tries to save the day until she's caught in the act. And speaking of getting caught in the act, Jeff Malone confesses to a solid prank on Lewis, and then Jessica tries to confess to Jeff the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But Jessica didn't take care of PCT, so now they're done, and Jeff Malone is all alone.
You've been hanging on to that rhyme.
We haven't
this
used
moment.
it. We haven't used it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, all alone. Jeff Malone. All alone.
There's a lot that happened in these 2 episodes.
So much. I can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty of it. This flashback episode in particular, can we just jump in?
We're going to jump in and do a little
Stick
BC.
a fork in it.
Stick a fork
and
in
start
it. Fork in the
slicing
road.
it up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we open. Rachel and Donna are having a girls' night, and they're being super sassy with the waiter, or not waiter, man who's flirting
Somebody's
with them.
flirting with them.
And Donna's like, I'm not even going to remember you.
Yeah, go away.
So confident.
Go away.
And Rachel says that she knows Donna told Lewis that Rachel got Katrina the job. And she's like, that was very interesting of you to meddle or kind of like expose and share things. Mm-hmm. And Donna says, just because a person gives advice doesn't mean they have to follow that same advice. It's one of the core principles outlined in the Book of Donna.
Okay, so I already have a disposition for you. So first of all, it's the first time we've heard of the Book of Donna, which I thought was interesting. So I put a little trademark pending here.
That's a good note. Good move.
My depo is for you. In the Book of Maggie, what is the core principle above all other principles that you would want to point back to?
I think one of my core principles is if you really don't want to do something, you don't have to.
I love it.
If you don't want to, don't do it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's one of my core principles. How about the Book of Amanda?
There's a lot of principles in there. I think it depends on the day, but I will say, don't lie to me.
Oh yeah, don't lie to me.
Do not lie to me.
Oh, I
will.
hate
First of all, I will find out.
And then you're just like, I'm so mad about a lie.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm like kind of loyal to a fault, and you do not lie to me.
I hate little lies too.
Don't little lie to me.
Don't little
big
lie
to me. Don't any lie to me.
Don't big little lie to me.
I know when people are doing it. I could be
doing
lies.
Doing lies. I can tell when people are doing lies.
I could be a human lie detector.
Good.
Dude. You can see right through him. You can catch him in the... I caught somebody the other day.
Got him. Put him in my lie pouch.
I gotcha. Told that lie right to my face. I just caught you because I have the receipts. Do not lie.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's one of the many principles.
That's good.
Yeah.
And this show, you would be having a hard time being at Pearson Spectre Lit because there are so many lies lying around.
Yeah. I wonder if that rubs off on you. Like if you're not a liar, but then you're just around liars all the time, if you pick up that behavior, because they say you're like the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or would you have an influence on them in a positive way?
I think probably like most things, it's if you're the one surrounded by more, it's harder for you to have an influence on other people.
Yeah. One of these kids is not like the other. One of these kids is doing his own thing. Mr. Rogers? Sesame Street?
I have no idea.
One of those two.
We see Jessica and Harvey talking about basketball and Michael Jordan and like his best shots ever. And Jessica wants Harvey to make things right with Lewis. He does not want to do this, but she's like, you also have to. All of this hinges on Lewis forgiving Mike, much like Rachel. Everything hinges on Lewis forgiving Mike. Everyone is invested in Lewis forgiving Michael Ross.
Yes.
Also, I want to note that during this conversation, Harvey is just lounging back in his sofa, and he's wearing a black button-up and a black T-shirt underneath.
Which is a new look for him.
New look.
And it feels like he is the tech director at a concert.
Yes. Yes, he looks very like, I'm gonna work backstage. I run some cable.
He might be in charge with the button-down.
Yeah, with the button-down. He's very sophisticated, but very casual. Just interesting that he owns a black button-down, because I feel like he wears white button-downs all the time.
Yeah.
But his casual look is still a button-down.
Look, it's PSL season. Things are different now.
Things are. Before the credits, we see a flashback, which is when I was super duper uber excited. This is the night that Jordan signed with Harvey. He had to go get drinks with Lewis, even though he just signed Michael flipping Jordan.
Yeah, kind of a big deal if you guys don't know. Number 23. Just do it.
GOAT, they call him. They call him the GOAT.
Do it?
That stands for greatest of all time.
I wonder if he still is the GOAT.
A lot of people now say LeBron James.
Is the GOAT.
Is a GOAT.
Me in the 7th grade.
You were a GOAT? In a
pageant? Yeah, in a pageant. I was a GOAT. The Christmas pageant. I was GOAT number 2.
Not even number 1. I was GOAT number 2.
I was GOAT number 2.
I still remember my lines. But Donna's going to call while he's having drinks to interrupt. Because she's like, you have to go do this. Then we see Mike as a bike messenger delivering documents to an office, like a law office. And
something like legal aid type place or something like that.
Yeah, like they're they're helping people with law.
Yeah.
And he's flirting with this girl named Claire, who is not quite an attorney, but maybe is trying to be an attorney. She's in law school at NYU. He woos her into a date with dinner. Do you know that this is actually his wife?
I do. I was wondering if you knew that. I wasn't going to put it in the notes. I was going to let that be a discovery. But I didn't know if you knew that. Did you know when you were watching the show, or did you find it?
I knew it because her name, I was like, who is she? And her name I knew was his wife's name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
From when we went to that panel. Back in Austin.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is his wife. So this is fun that Harvey got to play opposite his wife, and now Mike is playing opposite his wife.
And the dad, it's just like really a family affair.
It really is a family affair.
I love that. And
Claire's one of my favorite names.
Claire's such a pretty name.
I always thought if I had a daughter, I would name her Claire.
It's very classic, simple, timeless.
Yeah, I hope I don't meet a Claire that I hate, because then it will ruin the name for me. You know?
That would be awful.
Yeah.
I've never met a Claire I hate.
I haven't either.
They're pretty, like, neutral to kind.
Yeah.
This whole before the credits ends with Harvey wanting Mike to meet him at his car club for a trip down what he calls memory lane.
Kind of hokey, because it's literally a trip.
It's literally a trip. It's literally going on lanes and highways.
Right. But you wrote, I'm so excited. It's a flashback. I knew you were going to be so excited, because I was, the first time in a while ahead of you on the notes, I was like, oh, she's going to be pumped when she gets in here.
I was pumpkin spice latte.
Pumpkin spice latte. All right, after the credits, we see present day first, and it's Harvey, and he is in Lewis's office drinking a prunie, okay, which is this disgusting smoothie concoction that Lewis has come up with.
Made with prunes.
Or
prune juice.
Can you imagine, like, what that is? Like, it's just a prunie. It's like poop juice.
It's a diuretic.
It's totally a diuretic. Lewis is still being a dick, and Harvey's here to give Lewis 50% of McKernan Motors. And if we recall, McKernan is like the first big client that Harvey ever got. And Lewis is like, are you joking? He's like, I don't joke about McKernan Motors. And he's like, okay, come with me. We're going to go to McKernan Motors. He'd already given Mike instructions to meet him at their car club where he rents those fancy cars, right? It's kind of like Rent the Runway, but it's like Rent the Driveway, I guess. I don't know. And he has these huge, these wonderful cars to choose from. They're all three going on a road trip. So, like, Harvey kind of suckered them both in, but it's the Three Musketeers. They're headed down the road. They're listening to Martha and the Vandellas, Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. I love that freaking song. I'm excited because Harvey is going to make them talk, which is so ironic because Harvey has been in these situations so many times where people are like, Harvey, you have to talk to these people. And like now he is in the like mediator role, which we don't normally see.
It's interesting to see how he mediates versus most people.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing it right. He turns off the music until they start to bicker, and then he goes, okay, you're talking. We can listen to some music again.
Yeah.
But they truly have nowhere to hide. He should have, honestly, I thought, make Lewis sit in the back seat with Michael.
I think Harvey's too proud to be chauffeuring people around, though.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not about them actually connecting.
I think it's the perception.
The perception of that.
Yeah.
But Lewis wants Mike to chauffeur them around. Then we discover Mike actually never learned how to drive.
Right.
Which is a new thing, but I guess he grew up in the city. His parents were killed by a drunk driver, so it makes sense that he never ever learned how to drive.
Yeah, it's a trigger for him for sure.
For sure. And then while they're driving, Mike just is looking out the backseat window, thinking about his grandmother and how they used to play I Spy. And Lewis is like, oh, your grandmother? I bet she never even existed. You're an orphan. Oh, yeah, what a sob story. A lot of frauds say they're orphans. And Mike is so pissed.
As he should be.
Because he might have lied about law school, but his whole life is not a lie.
Right.
And Lewis throwing that in his face, like his person, his one person, that's his
everything.
His everything, who he lost recently.
Yeah.
Is very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I agree with Mike.
And then they get to a gas station.
Yes.
And Harvey's like, okay, Lewis, fill up the tank. And then they do actually fight, Lewis and Mike.
Yeah, and it looked like they were about to fight. And I was writing this. I was like, this doesn't look good. They're about to fight. Okay, now they're fighting. Mike is not doing well. Lewis is crying. Whiskey, the producer dog, is freaking out. Whiskey lost his shit. He does not like
conflict.
He does not like conflict, which is also, I think, the reason he doesn't like football on TV. Because there's a lot of conflict.
A lot of head smashing.
Head smashing.
Combat.
And he lost it. He was like running around in circles. I was like, dude.
It's just Lewis and Mike. They're going to get it together.
Yeah.
Every time we see Mike Ross fight, it looks like very silly. Because he kind of stands opposite the person.
Yeah.
And then they run towards each other. And there's some smacking. And like maybe some walls get knocked. Like they get knocked into walls. This time Lewis grabbed him. spun him around, put him in a chokehold.
Yeah, I was actually worried for Mike.
Yeah,
and I was like,
Lewis,
wait a minute, is this Rick doing this or is this Lewis?
I was surprised that Rick/Lewis was so strong and got there that fast.
Such a good actor.
Such a good actor.
I think that they probably could afford somebody more at this point, like they're doing so well, to help with the choreography of the fight scenes.
That's probably
what
it
happens.
is.
And they've matured as actors.
Yeah.
And this needs to be believable.
But I do like that the character, like that Lewis, who we kind of think is this like weak but also vindictive person, was a good fighter and able to squirm Mike into a headlock.
Yeah, and then immediately though they pull away and Mike's like trying to catch his breath
because he was choked.
Yes, and then Lewis is crying.
Because he says, you ruined my life, you ruined my firm, which is true. All of this grieving that Lewis is having is because his entire life is based on Pearson Hardman, or Pearson Spector, Pearson Spector Lit.
Yes.
This is where he has worked his entire career, where he always wanted to work.
Yes.
Mike comes in with this secret, gets hired, and now the entire firm is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Lewis's entire career is in jeopardy. He has some rightful anger towards Mike.
I think so.
I think for sure he does.
Yeah.
But Mike finally says he's sorry.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm sorry. And Mike said, and then Lewis says, you're not a fraud, Mike. You just never went to law school. So they worked their shit out.
Because he looked into it. Grammy did exist. He was an orphan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they drink some really weird looking red juice. They get the hell out of there. They get to McKernan Motors, and Harvey is going to give it 50-50. Mike and Lewis are not going to be McKernan Motors representation. They have to go in together, which is real sweet. Lewis is offering to teach Mike how to drive on the way back. And then as they're like walking in, Lewis is like, so how does my face look like? I had this juice. And he just turns back into the old Lewis. Like we see
like
it. This is at the very end of the
happened.
episode, but it's really nice to be like, okay, Lewis is back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Here's what I'll say. Lewis was on a reign of terror.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch. His flip to being the old Lewis is also, it's just so bizarre to me how this entire firm just embraces Mike Ross. No one ever is like, I'm actually taking a stand and going to say something. Everyone's just like, oh man, what a dirty secret. He's a good lawyer. But it is just wild to me that people would brush all that under the rug and no one has like the backbone to be like, actually, you need to stop doing this or I'm going to tell someone.
Because they care more about the firm and their own success than about like what's literally right. No,
right.
It's completely effed up.
It's totally effed up.
Particularly now that I'm watching The West Wing, and seeing like how they stand
up for things.
Yeah.
This is like not about actually it's just
this is drama.
All the warped
It is
morals.
So much drama.
It's so drama.
It truly is.
Can we actually talk about too how this is not Mike's first time defrauding people and pretending to be a lawyer?
Yeah, we can talk about it because he did it with Claire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that one first
before
we talk about the other flashback.
Yeah.
Because I was shocked that Mike Ross running into Harvey Specter with a briefcase full of marijuana. Dime bags. Was not the first time that he has been in a situation where he has had to pretend he knows the law. That was shocking to me. Mm-hmm. Shocking. Yeah. He's a repeat offender.
I know.
This is a pattern of behavior.
This is what he does. He lies about the law degree.
Multiple times in his life.
Yes. To get what he wants.
You would think that someone might lie about that once, but to do it multiple times?
Yeah, but I've heard this about liars, that the more they lie, the easier it is for them.
But Mike doesn't think of himself as a liar. I don't know. I was just literally flabbergasted.
Yeah.
But in this flashback, it all starts with Trevor and Mike. They're in Trevor's new apartment, which is an apartment we are familiar with. We have seen it.
Yes.
And Trevor's going to actually pay for the first year for Mike to move in with him. Mm-hmm. Mike's like, okay, because Mike took the fall for him. So this is the way of Trevor apologizing through action.
Yes.
They call it Casa, Evans, and Ross.
Yes.
I have a deposition for you.
Let's hear it.
I love when people name their houses.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
I still have not been able to come up with a name for my home. Do you have a name for this home that we are sitting in? Like my dad always called our house Rancho Rieth.
Rancho Rieth.
And I was but you can't really call it like an Austin abode because like then people will think the city of Austin.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I guess it could be Whiskey's Hut.
Whiskey.
Or House of Whiskey.
House of Whiskey.
Ooh, House of Whiskey is actually quite good because then people will be like, oh, she got some whiskey over there. I'll be like, boy, do I. And then you come over and you see whiskey.
You call it Whiskey in My House. Like instead of Whiskey and Rye. Whiskey and My.
Oh, M-Y-E.
Yeah, house. Welcome to the Whiskey Hut, though, is better.
Yeah,
Whiskey
House of
Hut.
Whiskey.
House of Whiskey.
Yeah.
That sounds bold.
House
I
of
like
Whiskey.
it.
Okay. Yeah, what about yours?
I can't think of one. The Chaos House.
Yeah, Agents of Chaos.
Agents
Little
of
kids
Chaos.
are Agents of Chaos.
Um,
Kids Corner, because it's on
Kids
the corner.
Oh, yeah. Kitty Corner.
Kitty Corner.
Okay, so Mike gets on his date with Claire. They're talking about Han Solo versus Indiana Jones. Butch versus Sundance. He has to kill off a character. He cannot do it.
He can't choose. Well, so I have a quick deposition for you. I don't know what kind of household you grew up in, but was there ever a Han Solo versus Indiana Jones situation, like a Star Wars versus Indiana Jones? Did you watch more?
I did not watch Star Wars. We did watch Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And Lethal Weapon.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's a different category because we're talking about Harrison Ford here in both of these.
Okay. I didn't realize that it was specifically the same character because later it's Bush
same
and
actor.
Sundance. Same actor. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched Indiana Jones and then we watched Air Force One.
Okay.
Is also Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I think when we talk about like superheroes, really, there is a lot of like...
Are you saying a president isn't a
No. The president is. There's a lot of debate around like Han Solo versus Indiana Jones or like Star Wars versus Indiana Jones. And usually Star Wars wins, right? Because it's just such a big part of like the zeitgeist of everything. I am an Indiana Jones fan.
Same.
The Last Crusade is one of the best movies, I think. We watched Indiana Jones in our household way more than we did Star Wars.
It's so good because it's based in kind of real stuff, but also fictional. I don't know. It's just, he's fantastic.
He's fantastic.
And he's an archaeologist.
We got Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Not lazy Sean Connery, but actual Sean Connery.
Actual Sean Connery is not in the universe of the stars. He's in Indiana.
Indiana! Jehovah's spoke the night! The cup of a carpenter. Okay, anyways, we'll keep going.
That's great. Claire, while they're on this date, is like, so what else do you do?
Yeah, because she's looking for a baller.
And he is actually just a delivery man.
Yeah.
So he lies, and he says, well, where do you go to law school? She says, NYU. And he goes, oh, I go to Columbia. Oh, and she's like, I knew it. I knew you had to go to a law school because you're so great. I cannot believe that. I literally was like, what the fuck?
He's a good liar.
He's such a good liar.
Yeah.
So then he comes and he's dropping off more deliveries. He gets a kiss out of it. Claire volunteers him to help with a case. Yeah. Someone's getting deported. And her boss is like, okay, great. Sure. You go to Columbia. Wonderful. Help with it. And so he's working on it. He starts like immediately diving into case law and trying to find loopholes and trying to figure out a way to keep this man in the country and extend his visa.
He's helping, but he's doing it under the guise of like a big fat lie.
Right.
That's what's hard here is that he does love the law and he is trying to help, but he's a big fat liar.
And it's like you can't have a relationship that's based...
How are you going to get out of that?
In a lie.
Yeah, a relationship that starts in deceit will end in deceit.
So he does this. It does not work out with Claire. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He has this big, like, oh gosh, I have to turn my life around. And then turns around and does the same exact thing.
I know.
He does the same exact thing with
kind
Harvey.
of like it's Michael behavior.
It's such Michael behavior.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Grandy's in this episode to call him Michael.
Right. Speaking of, do you want to talk about her?
Yeah. So Trevor's like, you need to move in with me and kind of like F grandma, you know, stand up to her for once in your life.
Right.
So Mike gets takeout for Grammy and she's like, listen, you can't live with Trevor. Thanks for the takeout. No thanks on that boy. And she just keeps calling him that boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you don't know he's doing this to forgive you. And she's like, you are going to fall into all the traps that he has set for you before. He is a bad influence. And she says, God damn it, I forbid it.
Right? Which I appreciate that conviction, but I'm also like, he's an adult. Like...
Right. But they're the only family that they have. And also she is right.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the future. Yeah. And this is a bad move.
I mean, he called Mike a fart taster earlier in the episode when he walked in to greet him. I mean, like, let's talk about the maturity of Trevor.
Yeah.
To be fair, fart taster isn't even that original. I feel like he could do something better.
It's not that original, and it's not that mature.
Yeah.
And Grammy just wants him to be mature.
And Mike has a better palate than just tasting farts.
He does. He has a palate for fried food.
Pizza?
Yeah. But he's like, listen, I actually have found a girl and I'm going to turn my life around because of this girl. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, wonderful.
You still can't live with him.
You still can't live with him.
Yeah.
Mike does turn it around, though, and he finds a loophole in the Immigration Act of 1975. And he gives it to Claire and her boss. They're at the courthouse. And the boss is like, oh, you know what, Claire, I actually forgot something. And he sends her scurrying away.
Chunks that proposal in the trash can the minute Claire's out.
Straight to the trash. And Mike's like, why'd you do that? That's really good work.
And he was like, look, if I called Columbia right now, would they tell me that you're a student? And he's like, stay away from Claire. I don't ever want to see you again. And like, you can tell that maybe he's jealous. I don't know. Like,
that's what Mike says. Like, what are you, jealous? And I'm like, no, I think he's protective of someone that he's close with, an employee. And this fraudster has come in, swept her, like romanticized her into believing that he's a lawyer when he is not.
To be fair, the boss could have still used that proposal and also been a jerk to Mike. Like, it doesn't have to be a either or. I think he could have taken it.
But do you trust it?
I mean, it's the law. It's right. I mean, he found the loophole.
Right, but then he would need to, I think that he would want to do due diligence, make sure everything's good, and he's literally walking into this. I appreciate that he said that, because I think that someone does need to look out for Claire in this situation. She's been bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozled.
She's been bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
And so Mike waits outside of their office for her to leave, and she is so mad. And he's like, no, I'm going to get my shit together. And she goes, you know what I hate more than guys who don't have their shit together is guys who lie about having their shit together.
Dude, I really appreciate that sentence.
Yes.
Don't lie about it.
This is from the Book of Amanda.
Dude, it goes right back to number one principle. Do not lie.
I just don't see how Mike can be so smart and be so stupid to be like...
He's a smart dum-dum.
But, like, how did he see this playing out? He gets into law school. After he finishes his bachelor's degree, Claire's like, hey, we've been dating for 4 years. Why aren't you working at a law firm? And he's like, well, I just started law school.
I know.
He's so stupid. So Mike's just super depressed. And he's sad. And so he's going to smoke marijuana at Trevor's house. And he's there all night. He says he's going to turn his life around tomorrow.
Goes home and sees Grammy. Says, I'm going to do this with your blessing or without it.
She was awake all night worried about him. And she just says, you know what? Okay, Michael.
Do whatever. Yeah.
The other flashback in this episode is Lewis and Harvey and their entire history. It all starts with this meeting at the bar.
Right.
Harvey's waiting for Donna to call. She's supposed to call 30 minutes in. And Lewis knows that Donna's going to call to interrupt them. But first he wants to pitch Pearson, Hardman, Spector, Lit.
Puts it on a napkin, slides it across the table. It's like that back of the napkin math, but it's a back of the napkin proposal.
And he's like, we're going to go in together as a unified front and pitch to Hardman that we should both be promoted to partner.
Yeah.
Which is a great pitch.
Yeah.
So they go in fact, to pitch it to Hardman. And Hardman's like, I'm actually only going to promote one of you. Whoever can bring in McKernan Motors is the one who will get considered.
Right. Partnership is on the table. And they assume that it means whoever gets McKernan Motors
gets partner. Harvey's like, okay, cool, I'll get McKernan Motors. And Lewis is like, wait, no, we're a package deal. We're supposed to be doing this stuff together.
He's like, you heard him. This is the thing. I gotta go do it.
And Lewis feels very betrayed.
Yeah.
Very thrown under the bus. Very dismissed. Very not an equal partner.
It is not mindful or demure.
It is not mindful. It is not demure.
So Harvey goes to pitch this to McKernan. He's one of two people on the list to see Mr. McKernan. Lewis is also on the list to see him. He's like, let me see your pitch deck or whatever, or your PowerPoint. And he's like, I don't have a PowerPoint. He puts his yearbook down and they zoom in on a picture of Harvey Spector with his quote below there that says, loyalty is a two-way street. If I'm asking for it from you, then you're going to get it from me. And this is such a dorky, hokey approach to be like, this is my PowerPoint. I almost, Maggie, for this, brought out my letter jacket and was going to wear it today, but we're not filming.
But then I would know. I'd be like, oh, good. Amanda is someone who works hard,
right?
And achieves Letterman status.
It's
like,
so
what?
hokey, but I don't know, it works.
It works.
It says you have a deposition here for me.
I do. Okay, so Harvey's senior quote is, loyalty is a two-way street. If I'm asking for it from you, then you're getting it from me. What was your senior quote?
We didn't get them.
They didn't let you have a senior quote?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
No.
That's so sad. What would it be? Think back to high school Amanda.
Oh, high school Amanda is a different version of the Amanda that you know.
Can I guess what it would be?
Yeah.
I hope you dance.
Maybe. Might have been that.
Yeah, I think it would have been.
Maybe I hope you
That's
dance.
what everyone who danced put in the yearbook for their senior quote.
I hope you dance. It's interesting. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was just so ready to be done. I had the worst case of senioritis. And I probably would have done something like, are we done?
Are we done yet?
Are we done yet? I also had 2 knee surgeries the week before I graduated from high school.
So you were like, I'm really done.
Yeah, I had to be lifted across the stage by the football coach to get onto the stage to walk. So
it would have been like,
I was like, literally,
who's
I'm
got
done.
2 knees and is getting out of here?
Yeah, this gal. Yeah.
Okay, so Hardman wants...
What was yours?
Oh, mine was, my mama didn't raise no fool.
I love that my reaction was just like a...
That's so dorky, so hokey.
No, it's so much better than... But also, I'm just thinking of you taking your yearbook and putting that in front of somebody when you're trying to get a job.
I'd be like, listen, McKernan Motors, you don't like people that are fools. Well, here's my PowerPoint.
My mama didn't raise no fool.
I would have landed it. Would have landed that client for Hardman.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay.
But here's the thing. Harvey lands McKernan Motors based off of loyalty. And then Hardman's like, actually, we just landed Fisher, so you have to drop McKernan Motors. And Harvey's like, I will absolutely not do that. And Hardman calls him, what does he call him? Oh, I'm sorry, the Fletcher? Is that what I called it?
Yeah, it's Fletcher. Engines, right?
Okay. So then Harvey goes to see Lewis because he needs Lewis's help. Because he needs to do patent law in order to figure out how to still keep McKernan Motors and not lose them. Because Donna tells him if you can't patch things up with Lewis, you don't deserve McKernan or that partnership.
Which is interesting that they goes to Lewis for patent law because Lewis is always known for the finance stuff. And so it's like, when did he become known being the guy that was great at patents? Which I'm not saying he can't be good at more than one. He can practice many types of law, but we have known him up until this episode to be the money man.
Right.
The one that can find any, loophole. He can find the mistakes. He can look at numbers like nobody else's business. So it's interesting that he's also the patent guy.
It's because those things are so, detailed, black or white, versus other aspects, maybe.
Sure.
I
feel like they just did that to make the story work.
Because he's so boring.
Carl was getting a little lazy.
Yeah, for sure. You're absolutely right. That's a good catch.
Mm-hmm.
So when he goes to talk to Lewis, I have one question. He tells Lewis, listen, when I get partner, I'm going to keep my promise, and you're going to be up on that sign with me. We're going to make that happen. Lewis is in a really big office, and it's not his office that we usually see. Is he in, a shared office?
I don't know. It's an office I haven't seen before either.
He has a sitting area. I was like, this is way better than your office when you were a senior partner.
Yeah, but also the office is real green.
Very green.
There's green background and everything like that. So I don't know if it's a film they put over it to make it look like it had been remodeled or something, but I don't know.
Well, anyways, Harvey gets McKernan. They figure it out by working with Lewis. So Harvey goes in to tell Hardman that he's going to be partner. He's like, you promised. And Hardman's like, I did not promise, actually. And you don't hold me to anything, you arrogant little boy.
Yeah. And it turns out he's like, I'm making Lewis partner because Lewis would do anything he needed to get it done. It turns out Lewis is the one that divulged all the secrets of what Harvey was going to do in court, which is what it took to get it done, which is shady AF, Lewis.
That's what Harvey says. He's like, you were so shady because you went behind my back, gave my game plan to Fletcher.
Yeah.
And Lewis is like, how is what I did any different from what you did? Harvey's like, it's totally different. And if you can't see that me standing in front of Hardman saying, I'm going to go after McKernan and bring them in is different from you going behind my back to undermine me, those are very different things. Yeah. But I can see in Lewis's mind, truly, why he did not see a difference there. Because he felt so betrayed in that office with Hardman that he was like, if you're going to betray me, I'm going to betray you too.
It's also just another example of lawyers being lawyers. They're going to just, the law is up for interpretation, right? I know it's written, but it's the way it's interpreted. And this is one of them, looking at their own actions and interpreting it in a way that justifies it. It's kind of oh, I've done this thing. I'm going to find something to back it up.
Yes,
and
exactly.
to justify it rather than being actually, I might be wrong.
Right.
I could be wrong on this one.
Donna is pacing in Jessica's office, and she tells Jessica that they're making a huge mistake about Harvey. Harvey should be partner. And Jessica's like, actually, Daniel was worried Harvey couldn't put his best interest behind the firms. And I have always believed in Harvey, and you need to get out of my office. because Jessica has a meeting to get to. She has to interview Rachel Zane.
I know. It's real cute. Rachel's interviewing, and Jessica hires her. Rachel goes, don't you want to know why I don't want to work for my father? And she goes, because I have the same type of father. And Rachel says, is he an attorney? She says, no, he's a surgeon, but it's the same damn thing.
It's the same
See you
damn
on Monday.
thing.
And Rachel walks out and she like squeals and then puts herself together. So
In a weird way, she like grabs her collar.
she grabs her collar and opens up her shirt to make it like more revealing.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. It's like loosening a tie maybe, but showing off your clavicle. Speaking of Rachel, we roll right into episode 14 with Rachel in her pajamas.
Rolling. Yeah.
Rolling chugga chugga choo choo.
Yeah.
On the railroad track.
Yeah.
Rachel's in her pajamas studying in bed, and she is so horny
Yes.
for Mike
Yeah.
because Lewis forgave him.
Yeah.
Like nothing turns her on more than Lewis Litt forgiving her boyfriend.
Right.
She's literally...
That's the aphrodisiac she's been looking for.
She is such a whore. Mike's like, what has gotten into you?
Yeah.
They're about to do it, and then a phone on the landline.
The landline.
The landline.
Which is crazy they have a landline.
And Rachel's like, only people who call that are my parents. We gotta answer it. Mike answers it. It's Professor Gerard.
He's like, come meet me immediately. So he goes to meet Gerard.
And we see him, and Gerard's like, I need your help.
Uh-huh.
You need to convince Harvey to take this case. I have some good information, but it's Liberty Rail, so obviously I can't do anything about it because
Right.
that would be a conflict of interest.
Yes.
You understand the ethics of that.
Right.
And he's like, also, I know that if someone can convince Harvey Specter to hire them when they never went to law school, they can convince him of anything.
Oh, man. Mike's face.
He's like, whoa.
Ooh, it's like a ghost.
He looks so pale.
Yeah.
Also, he never got to have sex with Rachel. So
I know, that's a bummer. He's had sex in the copy room and they probably had sex a couple of times, so it's probably fine. Yeah. I would imagine.
But he's just so pale. And Gerard says that me knowing your secret has nothing to do with you taking this case. But
Right.
I would appreciate you taking it. So
Right.
Mike's like, okay,
Yeah.
I will. We also see Jeff Malone asking Jessica to sign off on his vacation request. He's going to take her with him to Paris.
Like, it's going to be legit.
It's gonna be
We
so
find out.
good.
It's going to be legit.
And he's already asked Harvey to cover for Jessica.
Yes.
We find out that Norma calls Jeff Malone the Black Stallion.
Which I love, but also we still haven't seen Norma yet.
We never see Norma.
We never see Norma.
But we see a lot of her impact.
Yeah, she does.
And
Sometimes you don't
influence.
have to be seen to make an impact.
Yes,
you know?
for
Yeah.
sure. And then this all ends with Mike telling Harvey he needs to take a case from Professor Gerard.
Yeah.
Because he also tells Harvey that he knows Professor Gerard knows. Mm-hmm. Whoopsie.
Oopsie for Mike not telling Harvey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we roll in after the credits.
Should we just talk about first this quick Perry storyline?
Yeah, this is really quick. Yeah.
So Harvey and Jessica are talking about Paris, and starts comparing Jessica and Jeff to him and Scotty.
Mm-hmm. They're different.
They're different.
Yeah, Harvey's like, I don't want to be the reason that you can't go, so you need to go.
Right.
Because Jessica's a little annoyed that Harvey's like, I'll cover everything. But he's like, you need to go.
He's
right?
trying to make them last.
Yes,
he doesn't
he is.
want what happened to him and Scotty to happen to Jessica and Jeff.
Yeah. She has not given Jeff the answer if she's going to go, but Jeff comes home, which...
Is it his home or her home?
You know, I think it's her home. Because
it's gorge.
It is gorge. We've seen them in his loft. Remember?
Okay, yes.
So I'm pretty sure this is hers. I will say, spoiler alert, the spinoff show after Suits is over called Pearson, where Jessica Pearson has her own show. Her apartment in that is unbelievable.
Even more unbelievable than this one.
It's more stunning. It's just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Gorgeous kitchen.
Kitchen.
She's making Jeff dinner.
Yes.
And it's a French dinner she's making because Jeff wants to go over that Paris itinerary.
How does she have time to do that? She doesn't have an assistant. Who bought all that food?
Literally.
Seriously.
She can do everything.
She is unbelievable.
I can barely wake up in the morning and get my shoes on. And
know.
she's like, I'm in heels. I'm running a whole goddamn firm. And I'm making Jeff a Paris dinner. Anyways, she says, I am going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
She's gonna go.
This is not over for them because we'll close it out later.
We will close it out.
The other storyline centers around Lewis. So he is very smug, and then he is walking past the receptionist, and he hears her answer the phone, Pearson Specter, and he's like, what?
He's lit up.
He is lit up because he calls like 50 times sitting in his office, and she keeps answering it. Pearson Specter, Pearson Specter. Rachel's like, it's standard practice to shorten the name, to which I say, lit is one syllable. Pearson Specter Lit doesn't take hardly any more time
That's fair.
than Pearson Specter.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Rachel's there to thank Lewis for forgiving Mike and also tell her, do not rip the receptionist to shreds. but he is still annoyed with the receptionist. He's giving her evil eyes. Then he calls Rachel's daddy's office and hears the receptionist say, Rand, Kildor, Zane.
Yes.
Which is 3 names.
It's 3 names.
Same number of syllables.
Rand, Kildor, Zane, Pearson, Spector, Lit. 5 syllables.
Rand, Kildor, Zane is only 4 syllables.
You're right. That might be why.
That's it. They can only say 4 syllables.
Yeah.
So if you were like, Giacomo, if that was your last name, you couldn't have a partner.
But if we had our law firm that we've talked about, it could be Austin.
Mm-hmm. But it could not be Austin, Rieth Austin, because that would be 5.
That's fair.
So it would have to just be Austin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Elise, the secretary, has come to Rachel and said that Lewis is harassing her, and he says it wasn't harassment because it wasn't sexual.
Which is does not age well. It's also it's stupid for him to say that, but also I'm not saying it doesn't age well. It's just like that's not the right comment. Lewis.
That's not the right comment.
Also, an attorney should know.
Yes.
You can't say just because it's not sexual does not mean it's not harassment.
Although it was funny because it was so stupid.
Yeah, but also laughed. 50 times. Like he was calling her 50 times and then
just to hear it and get mad. How
did she know? Because you called from your office. Ding dong.
Yeah, ding dong.
Gosh, don't be a ding dong.
So then Lewis goes to Jessica to ask for R-E-S-P-E-C-T. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Found out what it means to me. She's like, I'm going to figure this out. And she confronts Jeff because she knows that he has been paying the receptionist to not say PSL, Pearson Spector Lit, to just say PS.
Yeah.
Not PSL.
To be fair, for the nickname, PSL is way better.
Way better.
But you know that's how attorneys talk about that kind of stuff too. They say it in...
I go to PSL.
Yeah, PSL. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with PSL. That's who represents me.
So Jeff goes and apologizes to Lewis, and he confesses. Lewis thinks Jeff doesn't respect him, but now they're going to go have drinks, largely because Jessica has told Jeff he needs to patch things up with Lewis.
Yeah.
They're out drinking. They're getting a little sloshy.
They're sharing secrets.
Lewis just wants to know all about Jessica Pearson at home. And Jeff's like, why don't you tell me about Jessica at work?
Well, first I'll say he does tell her a little bit about football. And it turns out that Jessica takes 2 sips of Miller Lite after each first down whenever the Giants are playing. I respect her so much for this.
That nice little OCD tick she has.
Yeah, and also that she'll slum it and drink
with a Miller Lite.
With a Miller Lite. I love a Miller Lite.
A Miller Lite's a good beer.
It's just great beer.
Light, refreshing.
It's great.
It's perfect for a football game.
It is perfect for a football game, and I love that she's superstitious enough to do this. This is fun.
It's good. It normalizes her.
Yeah, it does.
It makes her feel like a real person.
Yeah.
Jessica, meanwhile, is talking to Harvey, and she's like, I know you told Scotty about Mike Ross. And she is saying this because she wants to tell Jeff about Mike Ross, because that's the real big secret.
Yeah.
So she goes to Jeff's house.
And she's going to tell him. But Lewis already beat her to it.
He didn't tell her about Mike Ross, but he did tell her that he discovered the embezzlement 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which
does not line up with the fact he just became named partner.
Right. So Jeff's like, you have been lying to me. There's something else. The fact that you hid the truth, it's over. And I just say, oh no. This is no good.
I know. And she's like, wait, no. And he shuts the door.
He's done.
He's done.
He wants to be in on all the secrets. She did not let him in. She's like, I was just about to tell you. And she goes, too little, too late.
Yeah. So now she's going to have to try and fight for him, I guess.
Yeah, or cut him loose.
Yeah, we don't know. I do. I know exactly how it goes. But you get to predict.
I don't.
You get to predict.
Yes.
Because they left us hanging on this one.
They did.
Last storyline.
Mike is meeting with Joe Henderson, who is the whistleblower, who's been referred to him from Gerard. He was a prison guard in Orange is the New Black.
That's
so
correct.
I already had this feeling towards him.
Okay.
Of he's a little slimy.
Sure.
Their sensors on the axles at Liberty Railway were faulty, and the entire fleet knew about it. That's what Joe Henderson says, and that's why the accident happened. And he is 100% certain on this.
Mike's like, what's going on? You've had 4 different jobs in 6 years. Why is that? And he asked Joe. He's like, I got fired for blowing the whistle at this last one. He said, I'm a solid worker, and it's not like I'm fired because of performance. Like, I know what I'm doing. Because Mike looks into his employment history. He's like, this guy jumps around a lot. What's going on?
Right. And he's like, I'm a good worker.
Yeah.
So there's a report from after the crash that says the part was defective, is what Joe Henderson says. Mike is like, cool. Harvey says, like, go after him for a ton of money and have the settlement sealed because that's how things work. Right. And Mike's like, no, they need to publicly apologize for what they did because people died.
Yes.
He's taking it very personally. Harvey's like, I don't think this is good. You're taking it too personally. And Mike's like, stay out of my case.
Yeah, he like gets real so hot in Harvey's face.
He's way hot and hot. So Donna goes to Harvey's apartment with a cactus because his apartment is so unfull of life. Right. She's trying to liven it up. But also she's like, just stay off of Mike's case. Okay, let him do this. So Mike, goes up against opposing counsel for Liberty Railway. Evan is her name. And she's like, sure, have this report. Turns out all the heat sensors passed every single test. So your guy's lying.
Right.
Because he's actually a professional whistleblower.
Right.
That's why he's had a bunch of jobs.
Right.
And he's lost all of them. Everything has been sealed.
Right. And they shouldn't have that, but they do.
Right.
Because it's sealed. So then Mike's in the library and he's working overtime trying to fix this. Because he's like, uh-oh, I've made a huge mistake. Rachel brings him some coffee and she's like, hey, you're going to have to come to Harvey at some point, right? Because you're in trouble.
You need some help.
Yeah.
And Jessica is going to Harvey and she's like, you need to tell Mike to pump the brakes on this because we can't be a firm that takes on whistleblowers.
Yeah.
We're a corporate firm.
Yeah.
we take on the corporations, not the people who are trying to
we fight the people who are doing the shakedown. We aren't the shakedown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then Mike goes and he sees Harvey at his apartment. He tells him about the Liberty Rail report. And Harvey's like, okay, you gotta pull the plug. Stop it. Don't go anymore. But Mike is so passionate about winning this because people's parents died in this crash.
He's like, it wasn't my parents, but it was somebody's parents.
Somebody's parents. So Harvey's like, okay, you got 24 hours.
Yeah.
He does not pull the plug on it. He says, go ahead and try.
Yeah.
Donna decides she's going to help him.
Yeah, she swoops in.
She agrees that they're monsters.
She goes to pull the documents of the last 6 months of the repair orders or the maintenance orders, which is at the reception desk talking to Danielle, I believe. They're kind of exchanging words, and Donna's just really throwing her power around and being really annoyed. And then when Danielle's like, who are you with? Donna says, have you heard of the National Transportation Safety Board? But she doesn't say that she is with the National Transportation
It's an old trick. It's an old trick that they all use. Mike Ross used it, and now Donna's using it. Yeah. But she gets this girl who is playing Farmville to give her all of these documents.
Right.
But it's not entirely above board.
Yeah, because she did not tell them this is for discovery for a case against you.
Exactly.
So when you don't tell them that, then it's not admissible in court.
But it is admissible when you're talking in a deposition.
Sure.
I mean, you can say you have it.
Yeah.
Mike shows Harvey what came in the mail, quote unquote, even though it came from Donna, because Donna's like, keep me out of it.
Right.
It's all the maintenance records, and it shows that they have replaced all these heat sensors immediately after the wreck because they were faulty. They wouldn't have done it normally. They replaced them like every 5 years, but they did it within 2 years, like weeks of this huge crash.
Yes.
They go and they talk with Evan. Harvey's like in love with Evan Smith, the opposing counsel, because she's so gorge.
Yes.
They're like, hey, you have to also not only pay the settlement, you also have to make a public apology.
Yeah, Harvey's decided to take Mike's side on this.
And they're just so smug. They did it. They did it.
Yeah, they got him.
Got him. Good. Got him by the rails.
Yeah.
So, and Harvey scored drinks with Evan Smith. He's very excited.
Called him.
She called him. He's so excited.
It's like, you want to come have a little drinky poo with me?
Yeah. So he's super excited. Rachel thanks Donna for saving the day. And then Harvey goes out to drinks with Evan. And she's like, actually, hey, here's what I want to show you. This video of Donna unlawfully collecting evidence. And then it's just an, oh, shit moment. This is all going to come crumbling down. This is derailed.
Because we're so derailed, if we can get back on the rails on a train.
Do you think we could take a train to Prediction Town?
I think that's actually the best thing we could do. Choo, 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 choo.
Chugga, 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 chugga. Okay, there was a ton of derailing at the end of this episode. It felt like everything was blowing up in everyone's face. Jessica and Jeff Malone. Harvey, Donna, Mike, Rachel, all of it. Like, everything's just exploding. Gerard. It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
I think that Jessica now has an enemy in Jeff Malone. I don't think they're going to get back together. I think Jeff Malone, I've been a little irritated with him about how he wants, like, all the information. He wants to be, like, her to tell him all the firm stuff, and now he knows that she's lied about something. And I just think he's not Rachel Zane. He's not a little girl. I think he is also I don't think he's Scotty. Because here's the other thing. Scotty and Harvey have, like, decades-long relationship. So when she learned about Mike Ross, she was like, whatever, I'll do anything for you, Harvey, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I don't know how long Jessica and Jeff have been together, but I don't see him staying at the firm. I don't see him staying and working under Jessica Pearson if he's not also having romantic times with Jessica.
The office next to each other.
This is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is awkward turtle to the max.
Yeah, so awkward. I don't know where he is going to go work, but I do not see him staying there. And I just feel like this is going to be so bad. I just feel like it's so bad. It's going to blow up in Jessica's face. Because, of course, like, Harvey can do whatever he wants with any woman, and it's fine. Or, like, Mike's like, oh, Rachel, she'll, like, I can walk all over her. But Jeff Malone, I just feel like, poor Jessica.
Yeah.
She can't have a relationship. She can't even have a secretary or an assistant. Like, this poor woman. I think Harvey's going to be very mad at Donna. But I do think he's going to find out a way to, like, go to the DA, wiggle around, whatever. I just think that this is really, really bad because Mike never went to law school and he is, like, taking this case on very publicly. It's his case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is really bad.
It's a horrible idea, but there's been a lot of horrible ideas.
So many horrible ideas.
Yeah.
But Harvey's going to have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I think he will in some way.
Okay.
Joe, everyman mechanic, is going to find out that Mike lost the case, which is going to get back to Gerard, which is going to complicate things because Gerard knows Mike's secret.
Yeah.
I think that's another wrench.
Yeah.
Another wrench in this mechanic case.
You, look at you.
Thank you. And then I think Jessica is going to be so mad at Lewis because Lewis is the one who spilled the beans to Jeff. And this is just another situation where Lewis cannot keep his flipping mouth shut about important things. He does not see the implications of what he does.
You're right. He's not a strategic thinker.
He is not. He's just a...
He doesn't look at how the dominoes are going to fall.
No, he looks 2 feet in front of him. He needs some glasses. He's really nearsighted.
Yeah.
I think she's going to make his life hellish. More so because she is not going to ever give him the respect he needs. I don't know what she's got to do to get Lewis's name off the wall, but I feel like she's such a chess player that that name is coming off.
Yeah.
We were PSL season, but only for a little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
Those are my predictions.
These are great predictions, Maggie. You're doing the good work. We're rounding out.
Thank you.
The end of season 4. Next week, we'll be doing episode 15 and 16, which includes the finale. And you predicted that this was going to be a baller finale.
I think this finale is going to be bombshell.
Okay. You say finale?
Finale?
I say finale.
Finale?
Finale.
You say finale, I say finale.
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 Let's call the whole thing off.
It's the end.
Thanks so much for tuning in. You can check us out at onlysuitsfans.com and find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if you're wondering how to start your review, you can say, it's always PSL season when I'm listening to these gals.
I love it. That's great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? It's always like Pierce Inspector Lit season.
Yeah.
But also pumpkin spice latte.
I'm going to throw something out here.
What?
The first person to leave a review with that prompt is going to get a Starbucks gift card from us.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so if you're the first person to leave a review with the PSL prompt,
consider yourself lucky because we're
Consider yourself
mailing
super
you
lucky.
a Starbucks gift card.
yeah. And here's the thing. This is what we've learned. People have told us that once you leave a review, it takes a couple of days to populate. So don't panic at the disco. All right. Once you've left the review, just
We'll see it eventually.
take a knee, right? Take a note, take a knee, like Rachel needs to.
Yeah.
Maybe take a day in honor of Lewis Lit, and we'll get back to you. Okay.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah. Don't call us. We'll call you.
But also, you will need to email us because we won't have your contact information.
Yeah, we need to know that was you that left the review.
Yeah.
So maybe take a screenshot.
Maybe send us
Take us
an
a
email.
screenshot, send an email. We'll get you that gift card.
onlysuitsfans@gmail.com. Thank you.
Bye.